There we go. Yep, we're good.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this April 6, 2023 Police and Public Safety Committee meeting. I'm going to begin by taking attendance at Councilmember Brennan, Supervisor Puccioni, myself, Lieutenant Twitty, Lieutenant Todd Brenier, Town Clerk Michelle Martinelli, Town Attorney Finnan, Comptroller Greenwood, Seth Goldstein, Gene Bodie, Councilmember Moskowitz, and I have Chief Langenfelter from District 1. Did I miss anyone? Some news. All right, first order of business, I'm going to need a motion for the approval of the March 2nd, 2023 minutes. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. These minutes are approved. Operationally, we're going to begin by talking about the Stop DWI and GTSC initiatives as we continue to be deploying those for traffic enforcement. Right now, we have an initiative called You Drive, You Text, You Pay campaign from April 3rd through the 10th. So our officers will be out with grant funding to really focus on driving while being distracted through text messaging. We encourage all of our residents, please, 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 hands-free devices. Don't drive while you're distracted in general, but particularly with any sort of technology that you may have in your hand, because you will be cited. Second, on the operations, as a part of the Professional Policing Act of 2021, we had to go through a mandatory certification process under Executive Law 846-H. For folks that are not familiar with this, there are accreditation standards that through this Professional Policing Act were now required whether you were an accredited agency or not. And those standards were 9.1 and 12.1. And those were with respect to the hiring processes and procedures, including backgrounds, psychological evaluations, etc., but also with the compliance regarding misconduct. I'm happy to say that after a day and a half of hand redacting files, that we were found to be in compliance and were certified, which is a really big step for our agency, not only because you have to be certified, otherwise your agency may be decertified by DCS, but also we're already showing that we are on our way to accreditation by being in compliance with both those standards, which are our critical standards. So that was excellent news that we got through that process. DCS was great to work with. And we look forward to continuing that relationship as we start to begin the accreditation process, hopefully by the end of this year. Also under operations, I'm just going to speak about an incident. The SGS number was 193281. On January 31st, 2023, officers from the Niskayuna Police Department investigated a report of an armed home invasion occurring at Hillcrest Village Apartments. The investigation into this incident was led by Detective Paul Daly. In the ensuing days and weeks, Detective Daly was able to establish the positive identification of one of the individuals and secured the subsequent arrest for a Zajan Van Hosen for his alleged role in the incident. He was arrested on March 15th of 2023. I just want to thank all the officers involved in this investigation. We moved as quickly as we possibly could. It was pretty awesome seeing everybody in their individual roles into this investigation, but especially Detective Daly for his hard work and dedication. He did an amazing job putting this all together, worked around the clock on it. And the investigation is still continuing because there are other parties involved, but I just want to thank him formally and out loud and recognize his good work in this case. So thank you to Paul Daly. Our officers continue to assist with the crossing guard details. I spoke about this at the school safety meeting. I think it was a little bit misconstrued. Our crossing guard is out basically for the remainder of the year on leave, and we're backfilling with our officers as calls allow us to. We have hit the mark so far and not missed a crossing detail to my knowledge. But what was misconstrued at the safety meeting was I was just talking about the longevity of the program. Barb McIntosh, she's not going to be around forever to continue with the program, and we need to start looking towards solutions potentially for crosswalks and signage outside of our schools, and I'm going to continue that dialogue with our school district and also with the supervisor. I've been speaking about that, how we can go about that sort of moving forward, potentially budgeting for things such as the Birchwood Lane area. Detective Munger is working to create a Niskayuna vulnerable person registry through the police department website. Many years ago, we had a software program that was called the Take Me Home Project that multiple agencies in the area, but also down south, had used. and utilized. And we found that unfortunately had limitations to what it was we were looking to do to be able to share that information with our police officers from the actual operations of the road. It was sort of housed internally and not necessarily effectively. So he's building from the ground up a registry system that will put more information on as we go as to how folks can apply for that, the information that will be required of them. It's all voluntary, obviously, just in helping us, should we encounter somebody who's missing that may be a vulnerable person, and having a photograph, some of their basic medical information, but just a description of them so we can use that information more effectively, more real time to hopefully locate and assist those people. And this wouldn't just be for kids, it could potentially be for adults as well, which the Take Me Home project was geared more towards child and children.
Autistic.
Yeah, adolescent autistic. So lastly, in our operations, I spoke with Town Attorney Finnan. We've been having ongoing discussions regarding impounds and towing because we've had a lot of tow agencies that are requesting they be put on our towing schedule. And I recently secured Schenectady Police Department put out a bidding process to be, I think they limited to 2 towing agencies for the different zones in their jurisdiction. And I think it's something that we need to talk about moving forward, only because at this point we have, I believe we have 3 on the rotation, 3 different tow agencies on the rotation, and we've had 2 to 3 others asked to be put on it. And from an operations standpoint, it can be difficult to deal with that many vendors on a real-time basis, depending on if there's a problem with the tow or there's damage to a car. And I think we need to narrow that scope down and identify how we want to go about that. So hopefully, Elaine and I can work through that process using Schenectady, who already did it, as a template. So, fleet and equipment, our body-worn camera project is near completion with all of our officers trained. I believe we only have 1 or 2 cars left that we have to get the car cameras in, or
All the cars are outfitted.
all the cars are outfitted too. So we're out there. Our officers have them on them real time now, and we're out rolling that out. So that's a great job by everybody involved, and we look forward to seeing the results of utilizing that technology. Our AEDs, something we budgeted for the 2023 budget cycle. We did get a quote through Stryker Medical in order to upgrade our aging AEDs. I sent it to Finance Committee. I think the quote was for $8,564.84. These AEDs came as a recommendation from Josh Wyman, who's also a police officer, but he's also the chief of District 2. And I spoke with Chief Lingenfelter and Captain Benna regarding as well for any sort of recommendations about them. But it seems like it's a fairly good price. They sent us all the information with regards to a consortium for the pricing on how that all goes. And we're going to just continue to discuss that with finance to see if we can't make these purchases to upgrade these. These will also be the same AEDs that the parks will be purchasing as well. So it's all going to be the same model and make and everything. So our 2 new police bicycles have arrived and are ready to be deployed. These were as a part of a donation from the Janelle Group. Jason Janelle is a town resident, and he donated monies through his company last year to be able for us to outfit 2 new police bicycles, because our bicycles are what, Todd, like over a decade old?
The first one's went into service in 09.
09? Yeah. So we started realizing there was sort of that equipment was aging, and he wanted to donate some money for something good and decided to make this donation, and we really appreciate him for doing that. We're just waiting on the saddlebags and some of the lighting because they came in 2 separate shipments. But Lieutenant Fernier spent the day putting them together because they come in boxes. If you don't know that about him, that's the talent he has with bicycles and building bicycles. He has a passion for that. So thank you to him as well. He does. I'm not, listen, you think I'm just giving you fluff. He builds bicycles, right? Right or wrong?
Well,
Your own bicycles.
Yeah.
Tuning them up.
More maintenance.
Yeah.
A little welding.
He's got kits. He's got his own chain cleaning kit. I didn't even know that existed.
It's not
I didn't know that existed. But so thank you to him for doing that. The building, we had an issue with our parking lot lights. It was brought to our attention. It sounds like there was a short that may have been in conjunction with one of our poles getting hit at one time. that Charlie Bergami is still working on. He has fixed the lights, is going to continue to assess that situation. In conjunction with the building, I didn't mention it, but we've been having ongoing discussions about upgrading camera systems as well. Seth and I have had a couple conversations about that in order to get better coverage for a number of reasons, not just reactionary, but proactive sort of observations if we need to. As we all know, we're entering times, or we're currently in times where safety of the building, safety of the employees is paramount, and we're going to continue to assess those things and work towards doing everything we can to ensure safety. Training. Our department continues in-service training on defensive tactics, as well as de-escalation and minimizing use of force training through Police One Academy. Officers Powell, Hemmerding, and Guest will be attending alert training, which is an active shooter course, April 13th through 14th. Many of our Niskuna police officers have this certification already. Obviously, these folks are new to us in the sense that it's the past year and a half or so that they've come to us. So we want to get them that certification as well, so that we're all training the same way and responding the same way. And that's based on that rescue task force model that we do, training with District 1 and other local fire departments with.
Do you know where that's going to happen?
That specific one is at Woodlawn Elementary School. Yeah, in Schenectady. Officer Breslin is going to be attending EVOC, which is Emergency Vehicle Operation Train the Trainer course, the 1st of May through the 11th of May. This is the first time I believe we've ever had a Niskuna police officer that's going to be trained in this. As part of not only getting more instructors in wider ranges of topics and trainings for our agency to be able to assist the zone with, the byproduct is, we're going to be able to do more in-house emergency response vehicle training, maybe on an annual basis. And it just so happens that our insurance folks that we're shopping through said this was an excellent idea for us to help assist with insurance purposes. So, Officer Mara is going to be attending the National Association of School Resource Officers course from the 10th of April through the 14th of April. Coming out of police reform, one of the recommendations was, and I don't remember if it was specific to school resource officer training, but it was training with regards to the schools, with regards to dealing with juveniles sort of on this level. And as we've seen recently and in as past many years, there's a lot of violent incidents going on, unfortunately, in our country. And as of last week, even, we had a lot of local school districts sort of go into lockdown because of swatting calls and things of that nature. And we want to make sure that we have somebody that is trained and at the ready to sort of start beginning to have a liaison program with the school district in hopes that at some point maybe we can build some sort of community engagement officer program with the school district. And we think Officer Morrow would be a great fit for that. So we're going to get him trained up and start sort of developing those conversations. Officer Doust, Heather Doust, is progressing through field training. She actually already got a compliment from one of our residents as to handling a call. Mr. Bailey, if anybody knows him, came in yesterday, Tom Bailey, and was saying great things about Heather and Lenny Chase, right?
Yeah, it was Lenny.
Yeah, Officer Chase. A call they handled up at ShopRite. So, citizen correspondence, Larry Boswick. We spoke about this past couple of meetings. There was a request to look at potentially doing a crosswalk on Balltown Road to connect pedestrian traffic from Hexham Road West to the east side. I did send an email to Laura Robertson for Complete Streets to review. We also had a follow-up conversation regarding this. They're going to put it on their list of things to potentially speak with the state about. This would be a really big undertaking to create a crosswalk across Balltown Road in this area, particularly because that intersection doesn't line up. So it's something we're going to pass on to Complete Streets to kind of discuss and see if there's any recommendations or follow through from them. Town events, Coffee with a Cop. Again, the Senior Center, I go every third Tuesday monthly. Amazing conversation. Please, if you're watching this, you want to come engage in some really good conversations and laughs. We have a good time up there together at our Senior Center. Something I'm very excited about, the Target Starbucks will be hosting, in conjunction with our agency, a Coffee with a Cop. April 11th at 1 p.m., Sergeant Chris Henry is going to have 3 of these events scheduled. I think it's really awesome that they're wanting to do this with us, and we're going to try to continue to build this program, and if not monthly, at least every other month, have one throughout different businesses inside of our town to engage with our community. Drug Take Back Day is going to be April 22nd. Thank you to the DEA and NCAP for continued support in this program. Joe, what time did we do that from?
From 10 to 2.
From 10 to 2. And we did send out that information through the town website, also our Facebook page, and we'll continue to promote that. That's a great event. In conjunction with that, just as a reminder to everyone that may be watching this, we have a drug take back box inside of our vestibule that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and also inside of town hall during regular business hours. Also under town events, we have the Pedal Paddle Run event coming May 13th. Lieutenant Twitty is the point person on that. He's working with Chief Lingenfelter and the various agencies throughout the county to put on another successful Pedal Paddle Run event. And then last in our town events, I'm going to mention it because I always try to mention it as early as possible. Niska Day is May 20th of this year. Again, Lieutenant Twitty is working with the Niska Day committee to ensure that we're all prepped up and ready to go as we are every single year. So that's going to be a fun day. Do we know what the theme is?
Cruising.
Cruising? Is that what it is? Nice. That'll be awesome. Our town clerk, Michelle, did you want to speak about anything before I talk about an update on the dangerous dogs?
Yes, I just want to let everyone know that the online dog renewal is going very well. It's up and running, and to date, we've had 54 online renewals, and it started on March 13th. So that's going quite well.
Awesome. The dangerous dog contract we still have as ongoing. I just want to mention out loud because there's not a whole lot of options in the area. Obviously, we know the APF doesn't do that. We had talked in the past about the Mohawk Hudson Humane Society. They have been narrowing the scope of agencies that they work with, and that doesn't appear as though that is going to be an option either. I've been reaching out to the Montgomery County SPCA. They sent us an email stating that their proposed fee was $8,000 as a retainer for the year, which we have never paid any sort of retainer fee previous. And then there was also, a $50 per day for each dangerous dog, and $40 a day for each dog held on a 10-day bite hold. So I had spoken directly with, his name's Michael Buckley, he's the director, and obviously they have a board of directors there. And I had explained to him that we've never had a contract in place where we had some sort of stipulations where we paid a retainer essentially that we don't receive back. I sent him an email explaining what our current contract looks like with the APF. He said he was going to talk to the board there, but I don't know how many more options we have. And I think it's something that we're going to have to continue to discuss, because if this is in fact our only local option, we may have to look into for the 2024 budget deciding how we're going to go about that. So did you have anything to add to that?
What about the Saratoga County SPCA?
So we can certainly contact them. From an operational standpoint, it would be very difficult for us to be taking dogs. It's hard enough that we would have to go to Montgomery County, let alone Saratoga County, depending on how far out there it
It's
is.
not that far.
It's not. Okay. Michelle, do you know if we've ever contacted them before?
I do not. No. I don't think we have.
So someone looked at a dog.
Okay. I can certainly attempt to contact them and see what they have available. I didn't get anything from the court. Chief, did you have anything for the fire departments?
Just in addition to the Niska Day and the Pedal Paddle, District 2, District 1 will be participating in a water task force exercise down at SEC. It's part of a county grant program to allow those agencies that have boats and such on the river or have river jurisdiction to work together and get familiar with each other. Also, we're continuing to work with MPD and Schenectady Police Department on active shooter training. Trying to get something set up in Niski schools in the fall, still in process. And just wanted to extend our thanks to the MPD. We had a pretty significant fire on Dean Street a few weeks back. And they were extremely helpful in helping to take care of the occupant for the building, who was pretty distraught, and your officers kind of went above and beyond, what I would have expected. So we appreciate that. Fortunately, nobody got hurt, so it was a good thing. That's all.
So, our school district, we are still having ongoing discussions with the district safety team regarding the installation of Knox boxes for key access. It sounds like they are making this purchase, and then it's as simple as us getting them installed. Our Niskuna Cops and Kids reading program continues. What school are we in right now, Tom?
We're currently at Hillside.
We're at Hillside.
First week,
And
three days out of the 5 with 6 sessions so far.
Awesome.
So it's kind of a shortened month because there's a break. But they were happy to see us. So
yeah, continue to get great feedback from parents, students, faculty regarding this program. So that's amazing. Our bus patrol, we're calling for a public hearing on a proposed local law. This local law is going to enable the Niskuna School District and Town of Niskuna to have technologies installed on school buses to catch violators who pass the buses when the red light stop arms are engaged, and subsequently fine the violator. Essentially what we're looking to do, and a lot of folks have probably seen in recent times local articles of other school districts and their success with this, specifically South Colony, I know, had an article recently. We have times where we do get complaints regarding vehicles passing our school buses and making our children unsafe. And this company called Bus Patrol has worked with other municipalities and school districts to install camera systems on them that would capture the violation, regardless of whether or not a police officer is there, giving us much more coverage and subsequent consequence to violations. I'm fully supportive of this. I've seen the technology. I've gone on the website. I think that this is an amazing venture. I know that the school superintendent spoke about it the other night at the district meeting. It's a public-private venture is the way he described it, because it has to take us to pass the local law to create, or essentially create a local law stating that this is a violation. It then takes the school district to adopt and support that local law. And then we all get together with this company who, at no cost to taxpayers for the school district or for the town side of things, this technology would be installed, and we would subsequently potentially be able to catch these violators and fine them, which I think is pretty awesome. So I look forward to continuing through this process. I can't thank Town Attorney Finnan enough, because we literally had a meeting with them and you were on top of it right off the rip, getting this all kind of together so that we could present it to the board to call for a public hearing. So thank you for doing that. And I know, as far as my understanding so far, I've got nothing but positive feedback from the school district regarding this in our safety meetings. So I look forward to getting this done, and we're hoping to roll it out potentially for the fall is what the goal would be. Because obviously it takes, I think, 2 to 3 hours, they said, per bus to install it. You have to get some public messaging out regarding it. There's actually a grace period of 30 days where if someone does pass a bus, there's a notice sent to them saying in a 30-day window, this would have cost you this much money, knock it off. So it's going to be pretty awesome once we get it up and going. Does anyone have any questions about that? Personnel, our agency continues to canvass the new civil service list and it says July class, but I believe it's actually going to be the last week of June this year is when the next class is going to start. And we're also reviewing potential lateral candidates. I put under other our 2024 GTSC, the Governor's Traffic Safety Commission grant applications. I had to submit by May 1st. So I think we have to do something for that.
Is there a match or no?
No.
You can apply without a reso.
Okay.
We just need to do a reso once they award it.
The acceptance. Okay. And then a new, well, I say a new grant, we haven't applied for this since, I believe, 2010, somewhere in that time frame. There's a Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant application. We would be, my understanding in speaking with the grant folks is that we would be able to apply for this grant. It's a 50% match. The application window opens in May for us. It's something that obviously, we feel strongly about the safety of our officers and also being fiscally responsible to the taxpayers. My understanding in the past is part of the reason we didn't necessarily apply for this is because you do have to have very clear policies regarding vests. And as a part of our new Lexipol policy manual, that exists. So that would give us the opportunity, again, another byproduct of updating, our policies, our practices, and really moving forward towards accreditation and all those other things that we talked about. So that one we would probably support. Okay, I'll send you this one. And that's all I have. Does anybody else have anything else they want to talk about or add to what we discussed? No? Okay. Seeing as none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
Do I have a second?
Okay.
Who said that?
I-
Bethel. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. And our next meeting will be scheduled for May 4th, 2023 at 3:30. We'll see you then.